with the government's introduction of paid neonatal leave to parents of sick and premature babies. From April, parents will have a right from day one of 1 week's leave for every continuous week of neonatal care their baby receives, up to a maximum of 12 weeks. So they'll be on leave for those 12 weeks. And that's the hope is it'll remove some of the financial pressures on new parents. And welcome news for both of my next guests, because Ashley Wiseman had a traumatic experience with neonatal care back in 28. She is one of Jen Craft's constituents. And Ashley, alongside Jen, chatted to me earlier. I started by asking Ashley what her experiences were.
My neonatal journey started in 2018. I was pregnant with twins and I went into spontaneous labour at exactly 24 weeks, which many people may know that's actually the cut-off for terminations. So I was in a very kind of terrified, I think is the only word really, state as to what was going to happen. My firstborn, Esme, she was sadly stillborn, and Isla was born 50 minutes later and taken to the neonatal unit down at Basildon Hospital. She wasn't able to stay there because they only admit babies from 28 weeks. They don't have the level of care that Isla needed at that time. So she was transferred to the Royal London Hospital, which was one of our kind of feeder hospitals that Basildon deal with. And the next day, I suppose that's when our journey started. We spent roughly 7 months in NICU, a bit of a roller coaster journey. Isla was given 2% chance of survival. So we really didn't know whether we was going to leave with her or not. She had multiple kind of setbacks and procedures that she had to deal with. But July 2018, we come home. She was on oxygen. And I kind of vowed that the level of care, although it was amazing for Isla, and the nurses and the staff were absolutely incredible, there was kind of a void in the support for parents, especially if they're away from home. So that's when our charity, Isla's Journey, kind of began, and we started to provide care packs for just Basildon and the Royal London Hospital. So essential toiletry items that parents just could take upon themselves and not have to worry about going out to supermarkets or shops to buy toothbrushes and wipes and deodorants, things like that. That was a massive success in those two hospitals. And then I got this crazy idea along with my best friend to send a letter to every single neonatal unit in the country to see whether they liked the idea and to see whether they wanted to introduce the care packs. And I think 50 at the time replied. So we were like, oh, what do we do? So we quickly put registration in for the charity to be registered, started fundraising, had amazing support from family and friends in donating items. And we supplied the care packs to them. And since then, it's been 6 years working with other charities, the smallest things, which have done incredible things for neonatal families, which is where the neonatal leave policy has come from. And we're now in over 80 hospitals across the UK. So we just want the support to be there for families. And this was kind of our starting point. And now we're just campaigning for, whatever support we can get and get the government back in as well.
Quite the journey, Ashley. Can you go back to beginning to describe what life was like whilst Isla was in hospital? You're not sure if you're going to come home with her. At the same time, you've got to do your daily stuff. Presumably there was a job. There was a job in there somewhere.
Yep.
Can you sum up what that was like?
Yeah. So I'm actually a teacher. So was due to start maternity leave in May when Isla was due, or when the girls were due. It was terrifying. Like you just didn't know what was going to happen next. And in terms of kind of mental health wise, I kind of blocked out a lot at the time because you're so focused on baby's treatment. So it was very, very isolating. And I don't think you really understand the impact until you leave, because you are almost in a bubble. So with regards to work, I went into labour on the Saturday. So I was even still panicking, oh my God, what about my classes on the Monday? I need to set cover work and I need to do this. And then I need to sort out my maternity. When does my maternity start? And obviously I'm now grieving for Esme, so it's also planning a funeral. And I had incredible support from my family and, like I've said before, my best friend. And they took that pressure off, but I know not all families have that, and not all workplaces are as supportive. So yeah, it's just the whole kind of neonatal experience is very isolating. I would say that's probably the key word of it. It's just an isolation, and no one understands. People try and say they do. They've had a baby that was sick and they've had a baby that was in hospital for a little period of time, but I didn't even know the NICU existed, before I was there. So I think more awareness needs to be raised around.
Chatting to me earlier, shortly we'll hear from her MP, Jen Craft,